Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about my free agency predictions for the New York Jets. Let's get into it. Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I'll be talking about who I think the New York Jets will be signing in free agency this upcoming week. It's going to be an absolute blast. Before we get started, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the Just Jets podcast and also check out the Patreon, where for $5 a month, you can get some bonus New York Jets content, 2021 player cards, player write-ups in free agency, the draft, all that fun stuff. Check it out, link down below. Today's video is brought to you by Exter. They sent me this wallet. It's sleek, it's leather, it's made really nice, it's high quality. They have a nice little money clip in here where you can keep your cash if you still carry it. I know anytime like I go out and I have my regular wallet, it's so bulky and such a pain in the butt to carry. This makes it so much easier. You just pretty much bring your essentials with you. And my favorite part about it is they have this little button slider thing on the side. So if you hit it, your cards pop up. You can put your cards in there. It's so easy. You take it out and, you pop it back in. And then if you need them again, you hit the button. It pops right up. It's easy. They have a little tracker thing that you could put in it. So if you ever think you lose your wallet, or if you're someone like me who loses their wallet way too often, you pop that in one of the card holders and you can find it on your phone. They have an app where you could look and find your wallet on your phone. So if you're someone who loses your wallet a lot, myself, well, then you can find, hey, dummy, it's in the couch. So I'm looking forward to getting to use this, and thank you for sponsoring the video today. Okay, so in this video, we're looking at free agency, and I'm not going to do cuts. So this is cut free. I've did mock off seasons in the past, and I'm probably going to continue to do more off season content, obviously, as it's going to be a big deal over the next few months. But I am only worrying about, the cap space they have, and they can create more cap space after they're done. So when I leave and it's like, there is X amount of cap space, that's not a completed off season. So pump the brakes is essentially what I'm saying. According to Over the Cap, $48.8 million in cap space the Jets have. First, we'll talk about guys who I think they're going to re-sign. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif is number one. I think they bring him back for depth on the offensive line, maybe like 1 year, $2 million, something like that. I don't think it'll be very much more than that. He's a borderline starter. I would like to probably upgrade there, but he's good to bring in and just have as depth at that point. And you can play either left or right side on the interior. And it's always good to have interior guys like that and more than one. So I also think Tevin Coleman comes back. I thought he well overachieved, like 1 year, 1.2, something like that, right around the veteran minimum to get him back in there. I do think that if you bring him back, you would still need to add more, like a bigger body running back in the NFL draft. I think that would make a ton of sense, but bring Tevin Coleman back, who played in this system and played pretty well, and to help some of the younger guys, because think about it, it would be a rookie who you draft on day 2 as the bigger body guy, and Michael Carter, who would be a sophomore, going into his second season in the league. So you need a little bit of a veteran presence, and I think he fits the bill in what they're trying to do. So they'll bring him back. Eddie Pinheiro, same deal, 1 year, right around the minimum, say $1 million for him, I think should do the trick. And he will be brought in to compete for the kicking job. He was by far the best kicker on the roster last year. Maybe they upgrade, but I don't think so. I think they'll bring back Eddie Pinheiro. And last but not least, the one that everyone's waiting for. Did they bring back Braxton Barrios? Yes, I think they do. I think they offer maybe like 3 years, $18 million, so $6 million AAV. I think that's more than fair. He is a really good player. Supposedly, the Jets made an offer to him, and at this point, he's going to test the market. If someone blows him away, he'll go. But if not, it's a fair offer, which I think fair is probably $5.5, $6 million, in that range for Braxton Barrios per year. So at this point, $38.6 million heading into free agency. Who are the Jets bringing in here? The first guy that I'd like to bring in as an external free agent is Marcus Williams. Yeah, it would cost a lot of money. 5 years, $75 million is about where I think he's going to be. That's a $15 million a year AAV, but I think he's someone who's worth it. He's young at this point in his career. Like he's from the same draft class as Marcus May, but he's not approaching 30 years old. He's right in his prime. And I think he's someone that's worthwhile to pay because of how versatile he is, how young he still is at this point. And he'd be a nice running mate to have and pair with a rookie and help show him the ropes. And he's still young. Again, it's not like you're giving him this monster contract at 28 years old. No, he's still in his mid 20s. This is, a phenomenal time for him to get paid. He is going to get paid big money, and the Jets have the space to get something like that done. I think that's where they spend, and that's the big move. And then everything else after that kind of is supplemental. Again, I would love to sign every big free agent. It's just not a reality. So I'm trying to do my best to predict and project where the Jets are going to spend big. So Williams is who I have them going big for. And the next group is kind of like tier 2 options. I have James Daniels, the offensive lineman from the Chicago Bears, at 4 years, $28 million. So that's $7 million a year. He comes in, and then boom, you have a right guard at that point. He's still someone who is extremely young, which I think is something that Joe Douglas prioritizes with some of his free agents that he signed. Like Carl Lawson was just entering his prime. Gerard Davis was a reclamation project, but someone who is still young. Williams, who I just have them projected to sign, is a young guy. Daniels is just 24 years old, going to be 25. So it's kind of in that same boat of signing these guys for their prime rather than, paying for them when they are past their prime at that point. So $7 million a year. He comes in as your starter. Again, you have LDT as backup depth in that point, which is something that is important because God forbid there's an injury to either AVT or James Daniels. You need someone who can come in and actually play, not like a Dan Feeney. Sorry. So I'm more than okay with, both of these. And then it sets you up in the draft where you don't have to spend an early pick on offensive line because you kind of addressed it at this point in free agency. So I have him at $7 million a year. Next up is tight end, and everyone's favorite, or at least my favorite, Dalton Schultz gets tagged. I also like Zach Ertz a lot, but I don't think they're going to spend the money. I wish they would, but I don't think they're going to do it. Instead, I have them going bargain shopping, but for an interesting guy in Hayden Hurst. So I have him at 2 years, $9 million, so about $4.5 million per year. He's kind of bounced around. So he started with the Ravens, was pretty good, and a nice 1-2 punch with Mark Andrews there. And then went to the Falcons and was, relatively productive there as well. But obviously with Kyle Pitts brought in, you're not going to pay Hayden Hurst that kind of money. And I think he would be a good guy to come in and pair with a rookie, a McBride, Ruckert, Isaiah Likely, pick whichever one's your favorite out of a hat. It doesn't really matter, but just they desperately need a veteran in here, and I don't think it's going to be necessarily like a big name guy. I wish it could be, but I'm going to go with more of a little bit of a bargain bin, but a versatile player. He can block. He's okay as a receiver. He's not going to be phenomenal, but a pretty good tight end in Hayden Hurst. And the last free agent that I am targeting for the New York Jets is Joe Hayden at corner, 1 year, $5 million. Now, I've heard a lot of mixed things about the Jets and their plan at cornerback. And also, by the way, signing Joe Hayden would not preclude you from going with like a Sauce Gardner in the first round either. But I don't see them spending big on like a JC Jackson or someone like that. I don't, and I think they're going to miss out on some of the other bigger named guys. So instead, they'll bring someone in who's a scheme fit. At this point in his career, Joe Hayden he's not a man coverage guy anymore. He's his own coverage guy. He's a veteran, but he can still play. Like he's passable. So he's not a long-term option as your number one, but you bring him in here to help groom the young core because you already have Michael Carter II. You already have Brandon Eccles. You already have Bryce Hall. So I think you need that veteran to, help develop them and push them forward. Kind of like when Ty Law came in 2008 for the second half of that year and really helped Darrelle Revis jumpstart his career. Kind of in the same boat. I think the Jets view Bryce Hall as a number 2 corner, which is fine. I think he would be a high-end number 2. Brandon Eccles as depth beyond that is good. Michael Carter, the second in the slot, I think is good. And a veteran guy like Joe Hayden, I think, kind of fits that bill. Again, is it perfect? No, it's not a perfect free agency, but you're going into the draft freeing up some holes. That you don't really have to worry about the offensive line in the early rounds. Still desperately need an edge rusher, obviously. Still desperately need help at linebacker. Going to have to take a safety. Probably, I really like the round 2 window for safety. But you're able to address some key needs like tight end, guard, safety, corner a little bit. So maybe they add another wide receiver as depth too. At that point, obviously, I think with this roster plan, you're taking a top end wide receiver at pick 10, but maybe they add a guy to round out the roster behind Braxton Barrios, but I have them retaining Braxton. So these are my predictions. Let me know in the comments down below or on social media how I did. Who would you like to see the Jets target, or who do you think the Jets do target? Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.